You lose focus in class, even after promising yourself you'd pay attention this time. What if you could stay locked in without trying harder every 5 seconds? In this video, I'll share 8 tiny habits backed by attention science that will make you way harder to distract in class. Research shows distraction usually isn't a motivation problem. It's an environment problem and a habit problem. The problem is, most students try to be more disciplined without changing the tiny triggers that keep stealing their attention. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to make focus feel automatic in class. Let's dive in. The first habit is simple, but it changes everything. Put your phone out of reach before class starts. And I don't mean face down on the desk. I don't mean under your notebook. I don't mean in your hoodie pocket where you can still feel it buzzing, or imagine it buzzing. I mean fully away, deep in your bag, zipped up, somewhere you can't casually touch it. Most students think the phone is only a problem when they actually use it, but that's not true. Even when you're not checking it, part of your attention is still tied to it. A small part of your brain is busy resisting the urge to look. And that mental effort adds up. So, before class starts, make this your routine. Silent mode. Phone deep in your bag. Bag under your chair. Then mentally tell yourself, I can check it after class, not during class. That one sentence matters. It closes the loop in your brain. The mistake most students make is saying, I'll just keep it here in case I need it. But the second it stays visible, your attention never fully settles. If you want to focus better, don't try to win the battle every minute. Remove the battlefield. Now let's talk about something most students underestimate: where you sit. A lot of people act like seat choice doesn't matter, like focus is just a personality trait. It's not. Your seat shapes what enters your eyes for the next hour. And whatever enters your eyes has a direct line to your attention. If you sit in the back, what do you see? Other students whispering, laptop screens, people shifting around, the clock, the window, the door. There are more things pulling your brain away from the lesson. But if you sit closer to the front, something changes. The teacher becomes the main thing in your visual field. The board becomes easier to follow. The class feels more real, more immediate, more important. You don't need to sit in the very front row if that feels too intense, but choose a front anchor seat. Maybe second row, maybe third row in the center. Just make it your default seat. And here's the key. Don't decide fresh every day. That wastes energy. Pick one zone and make it automatic. The more automatic your setup becomes, the less energy you spend negotiating with yourself. If you already know one friend always pulls you into side conversations, don't sit next to them and expect discipline to save you. That's like putting cookies on your desk and saying you're practicing self-control. Set yourself up to win. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what do I actually do once class starts? Good question, because attention gets stronger when it has a target. So here's the third habit. Before the teacher begins, write one line at the top of your page. Today I'm listening for. Then finish the sentence. Maybe it's, today I'm listening for the 3 causes of this event. Maybe it's, today I'm listening for how this formula works. Maybe it's, today I'm listening for the difference between these 2 concepts. Just one line. One mission. This sounds tiny, but it's powerful because it gives your brain a job. Without a target, your attention drifts. It listens passively. It reacts randomly. But with a target, Your mind starts sorting information. It starts noticing what matters. It starts pulling itself back when it wanders. That's what you want. Not constant motivation. Direction. So, before class starts, glance at the topic. Turn it into a target. Write it down. Then, whenever your mind drifts, return to that sentence. Instead of saying, "I need to focus," say, "I'm listening for 2 examples of this idea." That's concrete. Concrete is easier for your brain to obey than vague motivation. And that leads into the next habit, because your notes can either help your focus or quietly destroy it. Most students take notes in one of 2 bad ways. Either they try to write down every word, or they barely write anything and hope they'll remember it later. Both are a problem. If you try to capture every sentence, you stop thinking. You become a copy machine. Your hand keeps moving, but your mind starts disconnecting. And if you write almost nothing, your attention has nothing to hold on to. So here's the better approach. Take cue notes, not transcript notes. That means keywords, short phrases, arrows, tiny summaries, question marks, stars. A few words that capture the idea instead of every word the teacher says. Your notes should look more like a map than a speech transcript. For example, instead of writing a full paragraph, you might write, "Cause leads to effect. Main idea. Important formula. Compare this with last chapter. Ask about this later." That kind of note-taking keeps your brain involved. You have to process what the teacher means before you write. And that processing is exactly what keeps you awake mentally. Here's a mistake to avoid. Don't try to make your notes perfect while class is happening. Don't waste focus on making them pretty. Messy notes that keep you engaged are far better than beautiful notes created while your brain is half asleep. And if you use a laptop, be careful. Typing makes it easy to record everything without understanding any of it. Sometimes slower note-taking is actually better because it forces you to think. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You can improve focus before class even starts with a habit that takes about 30 seconds. Do a preview scan. That's it. A super fast preview of what you're about to learn. Look at the title. Look at the section heading. Look at one diagram. Look at the first slide. You're not trying to study deeply. You're just giving your brain a rough map. Why does this work? Because your attention sticks better when the lesson feels familiar. If class feels like a random wall of information, your mind checks out.